to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
First, we'll hear about upcoming Around Kansas episodes, and then take a behind-the-scenes look at Gunsmoke, the TV show that made Dodge City come alive for viewers in the 1950s. Next, we learn about the Shunganunga boulder in Lawrence. And then Deb tells us about her good friend Esther Luttrell, an author who wrote a book featuring a character based on Deb. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Hey, good morning. It's Around Kansas. I'm Frank Chafin, and
I'm Deb Goodrich-Beisel.
And we're broadcasting from our studio in the historic Dillon House, which is right across from the state capitol in Topeka, Kansas. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the things that are going to be coming up that I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to turn it over to Deb because she has something really neat that she wants to tell you about, and it really is cool. I mean, in some of the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing a story on a coffee shop that doesn't have any roof. That's kind of interesting. The Wolf Hotel, which is under renovation, and then what they found in the basement. No, it's not spooky, but it is really pretty neat. And then I'm going to be talking about the oldest running movie theater in the state of Kansas, and then going to go to a candy shop. So anyway, there are a lot of other things that we're going to be doing, but that's some of the stuff coming up. So now, Deb, tell us about what you're going to be doing.
Speaking of the oldest running theater, today's my birthday.
Oh,
not quite as much drama as the theater, but pretty close.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. I didn't get a card from you, Frank.
Well, it's in the mail.
Of course it is. So what Frank was referring to, I've got a really big shindig coming up in Oklahoma City that I'm just thrilled to be attending. The Road to Valhalla, the documentary by Ken Spurgeon and Lone Chimney Films, won the Best Documentary Award in the Cowboy Hall of Fame and Western Heritage Center. Thank you, Vanna, for holding that up for me. Really big honor for Ken and Lone Chimney Films. These guys have worked so hard and so long with, not a lot, certainly not much money coming back at them. And there's not a lot of glory. There's a lot of awfully hard work, and they've done some, put together a tremendous project on Kansas history. So I'm just thrilled to be part of it.
Okay, and so it's a big award.
It is a big deal.
And there are going to be some kind of famous people
There's going to be
there.
a lot of famous people.
Well,
I'm hoping on Sam Elliott. I don't know yet, but I'm hoping for Sam Elliott. But Patrick Wayne's going to be the MC, John Wayne's son. So, yeah, I'm going to be in little piggy heaven down there. I just can't wait.
Okay.
So that's the middle of April, and it's just going to be awesome. And I wanted to share something else since we're in the capital city, and I know that a lot of folks, especially if you don't live in Topeka and the only relationship you have with Topeka is to send your tax money here. I actually love living in the capital city, and one good reason why was yesterday was National Guard Day at the State House. So I had my grandsons, and they had tanks and Humvees and all kinds of cool stuff. The kids had a ball. And the National Guard folks were wonderful. There were units from all over the state, and so they were just wonderful with the kids, letting them. My grandson said, "Can we ask permission to go inside the tank? Not to shoot it, just to go inside." And good plan. But
Yeah.
They were wonderful.
Yeah. So anyway, around Kansas, it's people, places, and things that make this such a really great state.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand And I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
It's time, the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo, April 8th, 9th, and 10th in Great Bend, Kansas. Working cattle dog demos sponsored by Farmers Bank and Trust all 3 days. K-State speakers, over 80 acres of exhibits, cutting-edge technology. Find all of your livestock equipment needs here. That's the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo, April 8th, 9th, and 10th. Go to starexpos.net for more information. Corporate sponsors American Hat Company, Great Bend Co-op, and KSN.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road.
Good morning and welcome to Around Kansas. What's our favorite TV show in Kansas? Why, sure, it's Gunsmoke. It was my favorite as a kid and still is. I love watching those reruns. That's a heavy book, so I'm going to put it down, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. That heavy volume was written by my friend Ben Costello for the 50th anniversary of Gunsmoke. 1955, it hit the television screen and put Dodge City, Kansas on the map. Now, the radio show came on in 1952 with William Conrad playing the voice of Marshal Matt Dillon. And then when it went to TV, the first choice, of course, for Marshal Matt Dillon, John Wayne. But then he decided that honor should go to his friend, James Arness. And what a fantastic role it turned out to be for James Arness. And of course, he was in that role for the entire run of the TV show. A couple of other favorites that you might remember, of course, Doc Adams, Dr. Galen Adams, and that was played by Milburn Stone, who was a Kansas native. Milburn grew up in the town of Burton, and then his first wife was actually from Delphos. His second wife was from Hutch. If you go to the little museum there in Delphos, Kansas, along with the little items about Grace Bedell, the little girl that wrote to Lincoln about growing a beard, you'll find some newspaper clippings from Milburn Stone's wedding and some items about the little church there where they got married. So worth a little stop around town. Now, the other folks who starred in Gunsmoke, a couple of them had pretty close connections as well. Dennis Weaver played in the first part of the series as the Deputy Chester Good. He actually grew up, was raised and born and raised in Joplin, Missouri, and then went to school in Oklahoma. So he's just about a hometown boy. He was an amazing philanthropist, very much into the outdoors. He helped a lot of charities that helped people get outdoors. And then, of course, after he was in Gunsmoke, he went on to star in McLeod for several years, the Western cowboy who goes to New York City to be a cop. Another one who replaced him, actually, on the series as the deputy was Ken Curtis. And Ken Curtis, of course, played Festus Hagen. He was from Lamar, Colorado. So he's in and around Kansas all the time as well. Now, he was an incredible singer. When you see that scraggly-faced guy on Gunsmoke, you might not realize that Festus had a beautiful singing voice. He actually replaced Frank Sinatra in the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra one time. He was one of the Sons of the Pioneers for several years, and at one time the Sons of the Pioneers, the foremost country and western, cowboy western group, they were just the cream of the crop, you know, the top of the food chain there. They have an incredible legacy, and he was one of those voices. He was also John Ford's son-in-law for a while. So when you look at some of those old John Ford westerns, Ken Curtis actually sings a few bars in those. So I think it's time to take another look at Gunsmoke. Look for the book Gunsmoke, An American Institution by my friend Ben Costello. It has a synopsis of all the episodes on there. It's got lots of interviews and tons of photographs with all the folks. You'll really enjoy that. And in the meantime, just watch a few reruns. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe. Here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center, utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Chafin, and this is Around Kansas. Of course, Around Kansas, we tell you stories that are about people, places, and things that make Kansas a great place to live, work, and play. Okay? Well, anyway, there's been somewhat of a rivalry between Topeka and Lawrence for, well, since the beginning of the state. Well, here's a story that happens to revolve around a rock, more so a boulder. It's called the Shunganunga boulder. Now, geologists think that, of course, this boulder was brought south by the glaciers many thousands of years ago. Anyway, it was deposited at the confluence of the Shunganunga Creek and the Kansas River near Tecumseh. Well, that also was a sacred site of the Kansas Indians. Of course, the Kansas Indians are the namesakes of the state of Kansas. Anyway, when the Kansas Indians moved on to Oklahoma, the boulder remained. Well, in the 1920s, it seems as though the city of Lawrence would like to have had that rock in the city of Lawrence to help celebrate their 75th anniversary. However, at the same time, people in Topeka wanted the boulder to be put on the Capitol grounds, and so, as plans were being made, guess what? The people in Lawrence made a heist. Yes, they did. They got a big crane from the Santa Fe Railway and went over to Tecumseh and hefted this big boulder over to Lawrence, where it is today. Now, if you've ever traversed the Kansas River Bridge in Lawrence, it's at the south end of the bridge. You kind of have to take a quick look now because there are two spans of the bridge. But there sits a 23-ton boulder. Its color is pink, and it is a rather large edifice that sits there. So the next time you're in Lawrence, if you traverse the Kansas River Bridge, the big pink boulder is at the south end of that bridge. It weighs 23 tons and it's 10 feet tall, and you can't miss it because it's a great big pink rock there. Now, of course, the boulder was dedicated by the city of Lawrence in 1929, and a copper plaque was put onto the boulder to commemorate all of the founding fathers of Lawrence. But anyway, it has an interesting history, and you do have to look pretty quickly because there are two spans of the bridge there now. But at the south end of the Kansas River Bridge in Lawrence, the Shunganunga boulder got snatched out from the grasp of the people in Topeka and dedicated in 1929 in Lawrence, Kansas, USA. So you see, there are all kinds of fun things here in the state of Kansas, so we hope that you'll have fun as you traverse around Kansas.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Around Kansas, brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Around Kansas. It was a great week for the mailbox this week. I got just all kinds of nice surprises. The best one, I think, may have been the new CD from the Wood Valley Pickers, Knocking on Your Door. And the Wood Valley Pickers have been around Northeast Kansas for quite a few years now, so this is not their first time around the block. Lots of fans in Northeast Kansas. In fact, last summer, 2014, in June, they were voted, or awarded rather, the Entertainers of the Year at the Wheatstock Festival, held every year at Ward Mead Park in downtown Topeka. This is a great CD. Wood Valley Pickers, veterans of bluegrass, and they take some bluegrass standards and they do some country music and just lend their own unique twist to all of it. You know, one of the songs that I love is Sea of Heartbreak. Remember that old Don Gibson tune, Sea of Heartbreak? I've been wanting somebody to do that for years, and these guys just knock it out of the ballpark. They do a great job on that. And then Ashokan Farewell, beautiful fiddle tune, and awesome gal fiddler on this CD. But that Ashokan Farewell, many of you remember that from the Ken Burns Civil War series. Not a traditional tune. It's Jay Unger actually wrote that, within the last few decades, so it's not from the Civil War era, though a lot of people believe it's been around forever because it's just got that standard feel to it. So that's a must-have. Brand new, Knocking on Your Door from the Wood Valley Pickers. I think you can find that online. Okay, the other thing I look forward to every quarter is Kansas Cowboy, and this is from our great friend Jim Gray out in Ellsworth. Awesome publication, the Kansas Cowboy, which is the official publication of the Cowboy Society, which is the cockeyed Old West band of yahoos. Never sell your saddle, that's his motto. But this is just chock full of great history. Jim is a rancher and a historian, so lots of anecdotes in and around Ellsworth, but just a lot of tales from the cattle era of Kansas. Lots of great stuff in here. Plus he puts in a schedule, and that's just one of the greatest things because he includes a schedule of history-related, Western-related events throughout Kansas, the cowboy action shooting meets, all kinds of cool stuff. So he works really hard on this publication. My favorite part's actually his diary. Just who he's been to see, who's dropped in to see him. That's my favorite part. And finally, a shout out to Ken Spurgeon and Lone Chimney Films, all the folks who put together The Road to Valhalla. It was awarded the Best Documentary of the Year by the Cowboy Hall of Fame and Heritage Society in Oklahoma City. There is an awards banquet in April, and Ken Spurgeon and crew are going down to accept that prestigious award. These interviews with Ken Spurgeon and some of the other principals of the movie are archived at AroundKansas.com. So when this film was released in November of 2013, Around Kansas got some fantastic interviews. Buck Taylor, Michael Martin Murphy, Ken Spurgeon, Sean Bell, Tom Leahy, Jed Merrim, who did the music. It's a couple of great episodes, so go back and watch those. And drop Ken and all the folks at Lone Chimney a congratulatory note. That was really a big deal. We're so proud of them. We'll be right back.
From the Land of Kansas is a trademark program that helps Kansas businesses grow, produce, process, or manufacture Kansas products. Many farmers markets statewide are from the Land of Kansas members. They are on the front line delivering fresh produce, homemade delicacies, and unique handmade items. Today, let's catch up with the Emporia Farmers Market. From May to October, this market is available outside, located in the parking lot at 7th and Merchant. From November to April, it moves indoors to the Emporia Humanitarian Center at 215 West 6th Avenue. The mission of the Emporia Farmers Market is to enhance community health via locally grown, fresh agricultural and related products and information. A 30-year-old organization, the Emporia Farmers Market is a project of the Learning Connection of the Flint Hills. All vendors must grow, bake, or make the products they sell themselves. To find out more, visit www.emporiafarmersmarket.org.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Around Kansas. You know what's cooler than actually having authored a book? It's being mentioned as a character in somebody else's book. This is what happened to me. My good friend Esther Luttrell wrote these two books, Yellow, Green, Blue, and Dead, and Murder in Magenta, obviously murder mysteries. And I am a character, or there is a character based on me, thinly disguised as Deb Goodman, beloved radio talk show host. Now, my friend Esther has been involved in writing and media her entire life. She was and is a screenwriter. She actually worked for MGM Studios in Hollywood for some time. When you're watching MeTV or some of those other old reruns, she worked on a lot of those TV shows back in the day. Esther is so talented and just churns out the books like crazy. And let me tell you just a little bit about the Murder in Magenta. This is the plot. I am living in Noto, which is the trendy new arts district in Topeka, the North Topeka Arts District. And I have a boyfriend who is a painter, and he paints a portrait of me wearing a magenta gown. And then he is murdered and the portrait is stolen. Is that a great plot or what? So even though I am the intended murderee at some points in this, I survive and hopefully will show up in another novel. So you can download Esther's books. They're available as an ebook, or they're available as a hard copy. Amazing, amazing author. She's also written quite a bit about dealing with grief and life after death. After the loss of her son especially, she was touched by the stories of other people who had encounters after their loved ones had passed away. So she wrote a book, Dear Dean, Love Mom, and that's been re-released. And it's just a really wonderful, uplifting, encouraging, and heartfelt account of her struggling to deal with the grief over the loss of her son. I highly encourage it. And if you get the opportunity to hear Esther speak, by all means, take advantage of it. In the meantime, I got to go create some new plot lines for Esther. See you later.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Oh, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.